Welcome in, everybody, to another Monday evening edition of the Football Smack Talk Show. I am your host, Ryan.
I'm Eric.
Welcome in, everybody. We are sorry for the little late start here, but we have some. Oh, yeah, I got you. You're just, normal, typical last couple of episodes, super delayed for whatever reason. Your computer sucks.
I love it.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll try to get through this as we always do. But we do have some things to talk about tonight. NFL free agency is right around the corner. The draft is shortly thereafter that. In fact, the combine officially started today in Indianapolis, where they're just settling in. They're going to be talking to some teams. The players are talking to teams and getting measurements and interviewed and all that fun stuff. And I don't think the workouts officially start until Thursday, which from I believe Thursday is the defensive linemen and the linebackers. And then Fridays, D-backs and tight ends. Saturday, quarterbacks, wide receivers, running backs. And then culminating on Sunday with the offensive linemen. So a lot to go over this week if you are a draft nut, as we certainly are. But yeah, I don't know. We got a few things we want to talk about, Eric. What did you want to get into first? A little draft talk, combine stuff, or maybe some free agency stuff? All right. Well, I'm pretty sure Eric's dead.
Well, if I can say it without freezing. As a fan who's yet to really take their deep dive and will be taking their deep dive into this draft coverage starting this week, what is it as an Eagles fan who should I be looking at? Like, who be paying attention when they come up to the 40-yard dash, when they go to do their workouts? Like, who should I be watching from any position group, anything at all?
That's a great question. I would say go ahead and switch over to your phone while I give you your answer. That way we have less of a delay here. Yeah, listen, I apologize. For whatever reason, his phone works better than his computer. So if anybody knows anything about computers, please type in the chat what potentially his problem is, because it's a brand new laptop. It's probably not the greatest laptop, but still, brand new laptop. And yeah, he's on Wi-Fi and it just drags. So anyway, yeah, listen, it depends on what you want to dive into. Whether you're looking for the top end guys, first round, second round, talented guys, the top what the Eagles have what 4 in the top 97. Whether you're kind of looking for that, or you're maybe looking for a kind of a deeper dive, a sleeper, because there are tons and tons of great talented people. Um, hey Eric, there you are.
How's it going?
Gotta love it. Some comments here. Dives, what's going on, buddy? Yes, this is the Ryan Reese. Alfonso, why? It's a great question. It's a great question. One to ponder. The wide receiver is going to be wild at combine time. Yeah, that's a great point. Eagles do need a wide receiver 3 and, own some early picks. I wouldn't necessarily be shocked or upset if they use one of their early picks on a wide receiver. When Dives and I did our top 5 or top 10, I'm sorry, wide receivers, it was like, these were all guys that were going to be going in the first and second rounds here. There's some really top end talent in the wide receiver and just freak athletes. So that's certainly going to be one that's going to be fun to watch. Xavier Worthy is going to blow it up. Eric, I know you know Xavier Worthy as you are a Texas guy.
Oh yeah. Xavier. Now I got a question for you. As far as some of these wide receivers, I feel like it could kind of be a domino effect where, like, once one receiver goes, you could see a bunch of them go off the board. There could be that hesitancy for that team to be the first one to go after. Like, I mean, obviously, like Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to go in the top 5, but after that, like, could you see maybe some guys drop down thinking, well, what's the difference between wide receiver number 2 or 3 and like 7 or 8 the next time we pick?
No, because I do think there are clear differences. I think getting a Malik Neighbors, a Rome Odunze is gonna far be better, than your Xavier Worthies, in my opinion. So yeah, I think I could easily see 3 wide receivers go in the top 10. And don't be surprised if there probably isn't 6 or 7, that might end up being in the first round, with a lot of still, great talented guys, including the 2 wide receivers from Texas, Mitchell and Worthy, as Dibes mentioned, that might fall to the second round. You have guys like Keon Coleman of Florida State. You have Troy Franklin of Oregon that are kind of that first, second teetering, guys. Then Malachi Corley, another guy to keep your eye on, is a guy that's sneaking in. Probably will end up being a second round talented guy. Then you have a couple of guys from Washington that aren't Rome Odunze that'll probably end up being second or third, day 2 guys, kind of round 2 and 3. So yeah, it's going to be a fun combine for that positional group. I think it's also going to be a fun combine, and it's more of like separating yourself, and that's the running back position. I think there's such, I think rankings are all over the place. In fact, me and Dibes, when we did our running back rankings, it was the only position we did this where we had 2 separate top 10 lists because our rankings we couldn't really come to an agreement. And I feel that across the board is even the so-called experts kind of have, even the number 1 guy isn't set in stone. We don't have a, Bijan Robinson or even a Jahmyr Gibbs. There's not these guys. And just because maybe the talent is not as great doesn't mean there's not a lot of shuffling that's going to happen. And I think a lot of that's going to be solidified by the end of this next week with those running backs. So, but yeah, I think it's hard as Eagles fans not to be focused on the defense. We have so many needs. We literally could draft every single position, early. So Yeah, it's funny. I actually just put out a tweet. I guess it was yesterday, or maybe it was Saturday. It's all the same. But it was basically positions I would be pissed if the Eagles drafted in the first
Yeah.
round. Let me see if I can pull it up. So and this is based on the Eagles' need. This is based
Mhm.
on positional value or talent within that position. And I said quarterback, obviously, no
Sure.
brainer. Running back. Now, while we probably need to figure out what's going on at running back, there's not a first round running back in my estimation.
Yeah, and with today's NFL, I don't know that I would spend a first round pick on a running back, even if there was somebody with a first round grade.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, 2 teams did it last year, so,
Sure.
some teams will still do that, but, um, tight end, again, there's only one clear-cut tight end that's, first round, Brock Bowers, and we're not gonna be, in a position to draft him. There's no way he falls to 22.
No.
And quite honest, it's not a top 5 need in my opinion. But again, listen, it wouldn't be like the worst thing in the world, but I just don't see it. Offensive tackle, I'd be real pissed.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, real pissed. We cannot be drafting for 3 years, 2 years down the line. We don't have that luxury anymore. We need
Yeah.
to draft for now and the future. We need to draft guys that are gonna be coming in and become starters for the next 10 years. We can't be like, "Oh, well, Lane Johnson might retire in 2 or 3 years, so let's let this first round talent sit on the bench for 2 years."
Right.
No, Howie, no. You have too many you just have too many needs, sadly. You don't have the luxury. Um, next is, now I'm starting to soften a little bit on this, but, um, and that's D tackle. Um, I don't necessarily know if I'd be pissed, but I wouldn't be happy. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, listen, a lot of people are kind of freaking out the fact that, by all accounts, Fletcher Cox is gone, and we're gonna
Sure.
need to replace those 800 snaps somewhere. Um,
Sure. But I mean, you just spent two straight first round picks on defensive tackle.
right.
I'd like not to go for a third straight.
Well, listen, it's not the first time Eagles have gone 3 straight on a position,
No.
and recently they've done it with wide receiver.
Yeah.
So, it wouldn't necessarily be shocking for that aspect. It's just you have Milton Williams, who
Mhm.
I think had about 450-ish, snaps. Let's just say you bump him, up
Yeah.
to 700. You're obviously both, Davis and Carter had under 600, so they're gonna get a bump, and you have,
Hmm.
a Jomo who should get a bump as well. So, I personally, again, would love, sure, to have 3 dominant interior, defensive linemen, plus Milton Williams, who I think, again, I think his contract is up after this year, so you're
Right.
more than likely gonna lose him, just because of the pay bump. But, um, yeah, I don't know. I think I don't see why you wouldn't address it. Like, if you wanna use, again, I'm just throwing this out there. One of the
Yeah.
seconds, or one of the, you're pick at 97 on one. I
Yeah.
wouldn't hate it. I mean, there are some, guys that I would love, to be an Eagle. Leonard Taylor III, from Miami. Would love to see him in midnight green, for sure. Milton Williams is gonna get paid the big bucks in a couple off seasons. Yeah, exactly. And it's not as crazy as offensive tackle. You're right. You're right. Craziness is quarterback, I think, number 1 for
Yeah. I mean,
uh,
you're not
right.
doing that.
then is offensive tackle to me.
Yeah.
Again, I understand the mindset of always thinking down the line, but I just can't do it. I just can't do it. I would and listen, I get it, and even if Kelsey retires and Jurgens is kicking inside and you have Steen at right guard or, even if you have a need at right guard, like, I'd rather you draft somebody like, you know, Jackson Powers Johnson or Grant Barton, interior offensive lineman who can play, guard. I'd be more okay with that than drafting a tackle who's just gonna fricking sit there, honestly. Now again, I don't
Well, if
wanna
you're drafting him to
underestimate.
play tackle, then yeah, I agree with you. But if you're drafting a tackle that you think can kick inside and play guard, then maybe it's not the craziest idea in the
I
world.
mean, you're right. Um, Graham Barton was a tackle at Duke, but everybody's projecting him to be a
Mhm.
guard. So again, it's not you're right, it's not the craziest thing.
But it's
Uh,
still, yeah, I still don't think it should be at pick 22.
quarterback in the first round? You don't think that's crazy?
That you
I
and I just
Howie
you and
Howie
I just
would
disagree there. Then
Howie would need to call in the National Guard to protect the Novacare complex because
yeah, that's a
defensively,
storm the castle kind of moment. That's when if we're watching it together, you and I are storming the castle down there at NovaCare. And if we're not watching it together, I'm calling you and saying, "Hey, come on, we're going down. We're storming the castle."
I mean, craziness. I'm fully prepared, my body for day 2 or day 3 quarterback from Howie. Now that listen, if
Oh no,
that
no,
happens,
day two,
whatever.
day
Day
three,
well, day
yeah,
2,
yeah, that's
let's go
true.
for
Yeah.
it. Unless you're at, like, 97 and, like, Michael Penix Jr. somehow falls all the way to round 3, go for it.
Oh yeah, round
Fine.
3, Michael Penix Jr. stay there, knock your socks off.
Fine.
Like,
Yeah. Tyler Guyton will be the pick. Oh my god. I don't listen. There's nothing against the tackles in this class because I do actually really like a lot of them. I just, again,
I get your point.
it's just not a need for me at all. I'm sorry, we cannot be drafting like we normally are and try to draft for 2, 3 years down the line. You can't have people sitting. You need listen, you have pick 22, you have pick 50, you have pick 54, you have pick 97. So you need to get 3 potential starters in
Yeah,
those
agreed.
picks, those first 4 picks. And I think you could theoretically get 4 if you play your cards right. I think you could potentially get an edge in round 1.
Hmm.
Say, again, say like Jared Verse or Latu or, again, insert, your favorite edge guy falls to 22. Boom. I'd be okay with that pick because, again, you still are unsure about Hassan Reddick. And granted, all accounts are showing that they're probably not going to go all the way up to 25, maybe not need to go all the way to 25, but maybe in the middle, 23, 22. But
Right.
listen, that's fine. Extend them, give him some money. You have him, you have Sweat, you have Brandon Graham's last hurrah. You have Nolan Smith, who hopefully will get a lot more snaps, and potentially you have a first round talent coming in. I'm great with that. That's fine.
Oh yeah.
Not my first selection of positional choice. Like if again you could set it up to where you get the choice you want. Yeah, I get that. I feel like slowly the safety position is starting to eke out of the first round as far as value is going, but that kind of sucks because then that means the 2 top guys,
I probably still
Pickens
don't
and
know.
Newman.
Yeah.
What's that?
Well, oh, I thought you were saying our 2 top guys. It's the safety position probably still your top 2 guys if you go outside of the first round.
Well, no, not necessarily. I just think the top 2 prospects are probably gonna be early, early round 2 guys,
Okay.
before pick 50. which would suck. I think if you can come out of this with, say, an edge in round one of those safeties, and one of the top linebackers, I'd call that a real successful first 2 rounds. Real successful first 2 rounds. I'm doing backflips. The same, because you get a
Yeah.
starter in whatever safety, you get a starter in whatever linebacker, and listen, Brandon Graham's not starting, Nolan Smith's probably not starting, so you're probably gonna, and again, Reddick isn't, obviously, he's kind of, lines up kind of as a linebacker, as that 5th rusher. So, like, you'd get an edge to start as well. And especially being in a heavy piece of a rotation, and considering you're gonna be paying, a good amount to Sweat or Reddick
Right.
and/or Reddick. Yeah, absolutely. I'm loving the idea of trading back more and more every day. I couldn't agree with that anymore.
Yeah, I was
There's
gonna suggest that, yeah.
there's not a guy that I'm, like, in love with for the Eagle, because I think, again, the way our needs line up and the way that maybe some of those there's top guys that are gonna be way gone before we draft. I think by the time at 22, I feel like some of those guys that I would love for the Eagles to fall to us are gonna be gone, and then we're kinda gonna be left with some guys and maybe some positions that we're like, "All right, well, this isn't necessarily a top 3 need, but,
Right.
this is the best guy on our board. Let's just go ahead." Um, yeah, I think a trade back to the 28, 29, 30 range, somewhere in that last couple picks, of
Yeah, like
4
somebody like
picks
a
of the first round.
Baltimore, yeah, or Detroit wants to come up and make a move to get a guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, you might
I'd love
find
it.
something to play
I'd
ball.
love it.
Yeah.
We can pick up a second round.
Mhm.
We could draft that safety, because then, all right, like, yeah, maybe position, rating wise, it might be a little early, but I'd still be fine with it. You go ahead and you get maybe an edge that falls, or again, that linebacker, and with Edgerrin Cooper, Trot Jr., one of those guys at 50, 54, and then using that, I assume it would be like pick 60-ish. Yeah,
Right.
you maybe pick, you know, whomever. Corner that fell, a wide receiver that fell, or maybe you go ahead and draft 2 linebackers.
You're talking crazy now.
Listen, I'm not gonna say that with pick 50 and 54, if I was the GM, I'd go Edgerrin Cooper, Trot Jr. Boom, boom.
Well, of course you would.
Linebacker position solved. Just saying. I would love it. Y'all doing business with the Niners or Andy? Ah, man, listen, I do not care.
Oh yeah, I could give a single
This
shit.
isn't this is different maybe than other sports, I feel like. Like, where, yeah, maybe like baseball, you don't trade in your division less, or your rivals, so to speak. Football, man, I don't care. If somebody wants to overpay me for the 22nd pick, and I can jump back to 30 and draft the guy who I want
What
all
was it?
along.
What was it? 2007 when we made a deal with the Dallas Cowboys in the first round.
Yeah.
Like,
Or when we traded with the Giants, the year we got, Devontae Smith.
yeah.
It happens. I'm fine with it. I'm okay with it. Let's see. Give me, Makari Page in that secondary. Okay. I like Makari Page. I'd be alright with that. Um, certainly, not necessarily a, first round guy, but yeah, I like that. Let's see. Uh, Hold on one second. Sorry. Yeah, listen, I just feel like the more, diving in, the more research that I
Mm.
do, the more, um, film that I look up, the more, not just highlight films. I mean, anybody could put together a nice highlight reel. Hell, we could put together a highlight reel of this show, and you'd think, this was the greatest show on earth.
These guys know what they're talking about.
Right. We could fool you too. I mean, what? No, but being serious here,
Yeah.
the more and more I feel like I'm really starting to love certain guys, and I feel like this year more than any year, because I always fell in love with certain guys. I'm gonna be crushed a little more after the draft than normal.
Well, because you can't take everybody. There's gonna be someone who you're gonna be like, man, really wish we had gotten this
But
guy.
why? Why can't I take everybody?
Because it doesn't work that way. You know that.
It's dumb.
I know. I will say I'll be a little butthurt if we don't end up with Trot.
Yeah, listen, I have been a big Trot guy. Anybody who knows me knows that I certainly am. But regardless, if there is, say it's pick 54, and we don't have another pick until 97, and Edgerrin Cooper and Trot Jr. are on the available, and it's our pick. As much as I would love nothing more than to bring the Axeman Jr. home.
Yeah.
I'm gonna select Cooper. It's gonna break my heart. I'm gonna be hurting.
Because there's no way Trot Jr.'s making it to 97.
Oh my god. I mean, listen. I also said that about Nakobe Dean.
Well, yeah.
And he certainly made it. But
yeah, I remember, yeah.
I don't think I got that lucky. And who knows, maybe, again. But I'm also not opposed to taking two linebackers back to back. Boom, boom. Let's seriously, in all seriousness,
with you.
Seriously, say you trade back a little bit, you pick up Kinchins in the first round, safety from Miami. You sign a medium, safety in free agency. You sign a L'Jarius Sneed, let's say, to shore up your corners. Maybe you sign some depth on the D line and whoever offensively.
Yeah.
But you haven't addressed the linebacker position, and you still only have Nakobe Dean and Summerlin theoretically as your guys on the roster.
Oof.
And we all know how he doesn't draft linebackers. He hasn't drafted ones in the first round since 1979. Blah, 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 blah. We get it.
It only takes one time for that to go down the toilet.
Absolutely. And then you can take that stat and shove it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Edgerrin Cooper, 50. Trot Jr., 54. Boom, boom. You have 3 linebackers on your squad that are young as hell and could be the new linebacker. It wouldn't be a linebacker but yeah, you'd change
the linebacker factory.
Yeah, exactly. It would be the linebacker factory. You're right. It would change immediately.
Remember that kid a couple of years ago from the combine? He's got his other podcast. Howie, for the love of God, get linebackers.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. Is that his name?
Who? Say it again.
The Giovanni podcast or whatever the kid's name.
Oh, what, the little kid with the?
Yeah.
Yeah, Giovanni.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like he must have been like taking a tweet from you when he was with the NFL Network. Howie, for the love of God, get linebackers.
Listen, I have been down this road.
I know you have.
Since honestly, since Trot.
Yeah.
And even with Trot. Yeah, exactly. We've known each other for what, 25 years?
Yeah. Wow.
More?
It might be more. It might be like 28, 29 years.
Yeah. So I have been on the linebacker train forever because I truly believe that you build a fantastic and great defense by having great linebackers. It makes everybody in front's job easier, makes everybody behind you's job easier. Just saying. Anyway, what up, Pat? What's going on, buddy? Um, I always thought Dean depended on superior play from Davis and Carter. It seemed to be even more complex now. Yeah, listen,
You may not be wrong there.
you may not be wrong. Dean has a lot to prove this year.
Mhm.
Staying healthy, understanding, his role, the playbook, etc. He's really gonna have a lot to prove, which again is even more important to go get linebackers. The only guy on your roster worthy of actually playing, you don't have any confidence in. So go get linebackers. Love it, Jesus.
I love it. I love it, right? Because you'd have more success just banging your head against the wall.
You might be right. At least my boy here knows that I do. I got it all figured out. I know
Yeah.
the plan. I'm gonna listen, Howie, if you're out there, I'm looking at you, Howie. Just invite me in the draft room. I will take care of everything. Just saying. That's all I need.
I will say, Howie, if you invite me into the draft room, I'll sit there quietly and just let you guys do your thing.
I'll be glad to be in the room.
Yeah, I'll be happy to be in the room.
I'm gonna be loud. I'm gonna be screaming. I'm gonna be in people's faces.
I'll be giving high fives and I'll fist bump you. I won't leave you hanging.
That's nice. All of Philly is going to die snorting all of Brazil opening week, game 1 in Brazil.
Yeah,
that's possible.
that's a true story.
Yeah, the draft guru said from day one, Jimmy Dean was too small. Who's the draft guru?
Mm-hmm.
That could be anybody. I know a lot of people personally that could be draft gurus. I know.
I call you the draft guru.
Unfortunately, terrible national pundits that are considered draft gurus. And listen, yeah, you're right. He is too small. And Trotz, similar measurements.
Yeah.
But listen, I don't put a lot of stock. It's easy. Oh, he's the draft guru. Oh, okay. Wow, you could have just said I said it.
Holding yourself? Okay.
Yeah, he's saying himself. He's the draft guru, apparently. Cooper not lasting that long. Listen, it's way early, so I can't say one way or the other.
It's not even March yet.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a lot that still happens for
We got
anybody.
like 7 more weeks of this.
Yeah. And Casey, MLB, Indiana. Middle linebacker, all big tackling. Yeah, he's very underrated. I agree. I don't know if I have him in my top 5. Let me see if I pull up my big board. I do like him.
Is your Eagles draft big board just nothing but linebackers?
You'd think it would be, my top 200 would be just all linebackers.
Yeah.
Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right now I have him at 11th. But he is climbing up my board, and I expect him to have a great combine. And most likely continue to move up. Linebacker only as good as their DT. Yeah, it is pretty important.
Yeah.
Howie, if you invite me to the draft room, I will not leave you hanging. See, there you go. Another one that's gonna make sure they tap up.
There we go.
Tap up Howie for sure. Pat, the Eagles' identity is built through their defense. Nick Sirianni seemed to lost that. I don't necessarily know if that was Sirianni. I just think bad coordinator plus injuries plus Howie trying to get away with, you know, linebackers and safeties off the street that ended up blowing up in your face. I think that's what contributed to, you know, everything that happened. Um, just watch Indiana versus Michigan. He will be higher. Aaron Casey. Yeah. I will. I don't know. Feel like I have watched some things from that game, but I will. I'll go back. Mm. I'm never gonna deny someone trying hype up another guy. I'll gladly.
Especially a linebacker.
Yeah, especially a linebacker. I do not mind falling in love with linebackers. Let me tell you. I mean, speaking of Michigan, Junior Colson, I'm a big fan of. Um, he's certainly a guy. Um, Peyton Wilson, obviously, I think talent wise, I think he's one of the better linebackers, but his injury history is
Yeah.
pretty terrible. Cedric Gray had such a great Senior Bowl that he's moving up. Trevin Wallace out of Kentucky, I really like. Trying to think of who else. Yeah, I don't know. There's a bunch. So, but yeah, listen, I'm always down for watching more film. So I'll gladly dive further into Aaron Casey, for sure. So,
but yeah, ask this weekend, what is the general plan? Because obviously, what is it? Is it Thursday or Friday? The actual on-field activities begin.
Oh, it's Thursday. I think at 3 it starts for defensive linemen.
Okay. So what is the plan for this weekend? I'm assuming all weekend you're inside just watching the combine.
Yeah, listen, I'm gonna be spending a good portion of my day watching the individual drills. I have everything set to record.
Yeah.
So that even if I catch everything, I'm still gonna go back over it. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm probably just gonna have fun watching the combine. How about you?
That's pretty much my plan. This past weekend, like let's just say last week. Last week was a week. It was
How was it?
Chock full of lots of going on, and so I've already made the one that this weekend is the combine. I will be sitting down and watching that all weekend.
Well, good. Yeah, no, same. I'm sure I'll be texting you if there's a guy that pops out for sure. But yeah, listen. Oh yeah, we didn't officially talk about the salary cap going up. It went up a lot higher than I think a lot of people were kind of assuming. I think what is it, 255.4?
255, yeah.
Yeah, 255.4. And I think they were kind of assuming it would be a little over 250. So I think it's probably like 4-ish million more than maybe what anybody was really expecting. Now, granted, that goes for everybody, but I will say that does give Howie a little bit more leeway to kind of maybe extend some guys. I think when all's said and done, if they restructure or just cut Kevin Byard, they extend Reddick. They do Dickerson contract. They do Devontae Smith. Like, there's a couple of moves that they can go from, I think, just under 30 million to almost 60.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So to me, that says go out and sign 2 major guys.
Yeah.
And you still have money to play with to give money where you need it to your own free agents should you need that. I think, Kelsey retires. That's certainly one last large cap hit that's probably gonna smash against the cap. But
Sure.
yeah, listen, I don't know. I'm just thinking, get yourself a few defensemen, Patrick
Mhm.
Queen,
Oh.
please.
Well,
Legarius
if you get
Sneed
Patrick
would
Queen,
be.
you're not getting two draft picks at linebacker.
I mean,
I have a feeling you'll take
I
that trade off.
would I be greedy if I still wanted both? And Patrick Queen?
Absolutely, you would be.
Okay, well,
But
call me greedy.
yeah, I was gonna say, I know that won't stop you.
But no, yes. If you're telling me that I get to have Edgerrin Cooper, Patrick Queen as my linebackers, sign up for that every day of the week. Every day of the week. In
Now,
fact, at that point, go get use that 54th pick and draft a tackle for LA Care.
now, would you sign up for Queen and who was the linebacker you said there?
Cooper?
Yeah, Queen and Cooper. Then Truck gets drafted by the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh man, why? Why? Why are you the worst person in the world?
I mean, I think you answered your own question there because I'm the worst person in the world.
No, I don't want that. That would break my heart.
But you
That would
get Queen and
again,
Cooper.
that would break my heart.
Yeah,
I watched this kid in high school.
I know. I know.
In
We
high
both
school.
did. Yeah.
I no, I've been waiting for him so long. And to see him
Yeah.
go to the Cowboy well, first and foremost, if they draft another linebacker, I'm gonna smack the shit out of Jerry Jones. I'm gonna drive down to Texas. I'm gonna find out where he is. I'm gonna meet him in an elevator, and
Don't
I'm
you
gonna
dare. I
smack
am
the shit
saying
out
a
of
prayer every night for the health of Jerry Jones. May he live to be 170.
him. You're absolutely right. Although, actually, would it be really the worst thing in the world if his idiot son took over?
Yeah, that's true.
So,
The whole
but
family inbred morons.
fine. I'll only lightly slap him.
Okay.
But yeah, that would hurt a lot. I don't know why you would put that out in the universe. And if that happens, before I drive down to
Yeah,
Texas, I am finding where you are. I'm kicking you square in the nuts.
that's fair.
Yeah. Yeah, you would be like, "Yeah, I deserve it." God.
Yeah, just let me clench up. Just
Yeah, yeah, do whatever you
I'll
have to
take the
do. Say a
shot. Yeah,
prayer, hold on to something,
yeah,
bite down on a leather wallet, whatever.
yeah.
It's gonna
That's
hurt.
fair.
It's gonna hurt.
Oh, obviously it's gonna hurt bad, but
Yeah, yeah.
but I'll learn it.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, listen, so obviously the salary cap went up.
Hmm.
Franchise tags are available to be tagged, although none have officially stated, and they never do this early.
I think they've said T. Higgins. The plan is for Cincinnati to tag him.
Well, sure. I mean, I've
That's
heard, I've heard everybody's plans.
yeah.
um, you know, but crazier things have happened. So, um,
I've heard no
yeah,
running backs though.
I mean, that makes sense. I mean,
Yeah,
well, Saquon, can Saquon be
I
franchised
don't
again?
think so.
Wasn't he already franchised twice?
Yeah, yeah, I don't think he can be again.
Yeah. So, um, yeah. Listen, I got it. Spending that much money on a running back is crazy. Um, so I don't see the Titans doing it with Derrick Henry. I
No,
don't see Giants doing with Barkley. I don't see Raiders doing with Josh Jacobs. Um,
no, I don't think. I don't.
there's Pollard in Dallas. So yeah, there's a couple of guys for sure that
Yeah,
are
I
gonna
wouldn't be
come.
surprised to see all those guys that you just named changing teams.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see kind of where all this shakes out, but I think we are. I was gonna say, what do I have a? I wonder if I have an official because I want to figure out the. Uh, when is the official start of free agency? Is it March? March 5th? Or is that the end of
I
March
thought
13th?
it was. Yeah, I was gonna say. I thought it was the next weekend or
So,
around the tournament time. Yeah.
oh, that's a week, yeah, week before that tournament, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tournament's like 20s, right?
21st, 21st, 22nd, or 19th, whatever that Thursday and Friday is.
Gotcha. Yeah, I gotta we gotta make sure we take off, get together and
Yeah.
watch
Yeah.
some tournament.
I said something to work. I was going to leave around noon those 2 days.
No, so you're just gonna work like 3/4 of a day?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Nice you can do that.
Yeah. Yeah, that part is nice. Yeah. But Thursday and Friday, I'm just like, yeah, I'm out here at noon. And they're just like, oh, okay.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, we are although we started a little late, we still are running a little over here, but listen, yeah, we still have quite a bit. Next Monday on our show we'll kind of be recapping a bit of the combine. So I can't wait for that. Eric will be watching 24 hours
Yeah.
combine coverage. In fact, he is
I'm
going to.
actually looking forward to next week being able to get out here and talk to you. And when you bring up these names, I'll actually know who you're talking about.
It would be nice. Conversations usually take two people.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm just kidding. But
Oh,
yes.
yeah, fair.
But yeah, we're super excited about the combine, and yeah, we'll bring all that to you next week. And then, geez, what I was gonna say, by the time we are on the air next week, we will have already hit March, and
Yeah.
then the next day is the end of the franchise tag period.
Yeah.
So we'll be able to talk about probably a decent amount, if not all, of the franchise tags that have been.
Right.
And then the week after that, we'll do we'll do free agency stuff. Although we do, oh yeah, that's right, we do have to figure out our live free agency preview show.
Yeah, because I have to let somebody know about that. So maybe we could have that out at the.
Why don't we have a discussion when we get off the show?
All right.
Sounds great. All right, well, everybody, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Sorry if we're a little late. But Dives, Alfonso, appreciate all the comments. Martin, Pat, of course, Nims, Danny Savage, aka the Draft Guru, and everybody else for watching. We do appreciate everybody from the Edge of Philly Sports YouTube. Thank you, of course. Then everybody else from the Philly Sports Alliance social medias. Please make sure that you hit that follow, hit that like. And yeah, other than that, I think that's it for us. Eric, you got anything to add before we pop on out of here?
Yeah.
All right. Got to keep that streak alive. Got to love it. All right, folks. We will see you guys next week. So for the Football Smack Talk show, I'm Ryan.
I'm Eric. Happy football, everybody. Only 192 days to go.
There you go. That's not bad. I could do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I do it every year, but
I was going to say, we kind of have to.
I don't have to. No. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week. We'll talk about the combine. Have a good night.